Hey, if you're watching this, that means you are on my About Me page on mystorymichelle.com, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about me. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Michelle, and I've actually been an entrepreneur for over 15 years. So My Story Michelle is simply my story. I want to really empower women and individuals to really get into the entrepreneur space if they want it and want to get into it. However, that's something that I want to encourage other women to be able to do. So my story is I started at the age of 15 working in San Antonio, Texas, and then found myself in Miami, Florida many years after that to be able to just start my entrepreneur journey. Didn't know that that's where it was going to take me. But I started in my corporate America job was in HR and recruiting. So a headhunter is what they would call us back in the day. And so when I saved up money for 6 months of my corporate America job, I decided to start and take a leap of faith on myself. Since then, I haven't looked back. 2013 is when I decided to open up my first company officially. I always had side hustles and things that I was doing, but officially said, you know what, I'm going to bet on myself. At that time, I, for a few years, did headhunting and HR recruiting in direct hires as well as temp hiring. And then I had an opportunity for someone to come to me and said, hey, I am working for a developer right now or a real estate fund that they're purchasing 300 properties all around South Florida a month. And we need subcontractors. We need service providers to be able to go ahead and do the work. But unfortunately, the crews that we are hiring cannot be able to handle all of the influx, and we're not hitting our deadlines. So as we were sitting there, I said, you know, I don't know much about general contracting or construction, but I do know that I can find the individuals and be able to put them in a seat. And from there, they could be able to, we can get these jobs fulfilled. So that started my construction days. And that's how I got into real estate. I knew I wanted to get into real estate, just didn't know how. And that's what I decided to choose, as become a general contractor. So company name was Chicks and Flips and Construction. Was awesome journey. I did that for about 4 or 5 years. And then after that, I was very successful with my team. We were doing about 16 to 20 homes with that particular client just in per month, and then we had others. It was a pretty sweet gig, but I found myself in kind of a hard place when COVID happened, and we were an essential company, so it was great, but I had my dog as well as myself, and I felt there was still something of fulfillment that I needed to accomplish. So at that time, I started to explore, maybe it's time for me to get into real estate. And the funny part about it is I was already in real estate, but didn't know I was. And the office that I shared, I did a WeWork kind of situation, was with a wholesaler. And he said, Michelle, you would be great at this. I'm like, nope, I'm going to stay in my lane. I'm going to become a general contractor. I am a general contractor. That's what I'm going to do. Unbeknownst to me, now I'm a real estate investor. But I decided to come back to San Antonio, Texas, where I started my real estate journey, because that is where my family's from. And I really wanted to start to build a legacy and start to grow here in San Antonio, and thought getting into real estate, you had to be in, boots on the ground and present versus owning real estate anywhere. So my first business partner was my mom, and my mom and I had bought several properties. We bought 19 properties the first year, which was pretty aggressive to know that we were buying and holding these. None of this was fix and flips. So I was practically new back to San Antonio. I was starting at construction here, figuring out what needs to be in the Texas area versus the Miami area, and then not necessarily being the contractor anymore. I was the investor. So total different game and total different thing. But continue to keep growing. And a lot of where our properties, like right now, we're in the midterm space, but we're looking to get into commercial space as well. So that's a little bit about me. If you're on this channel, I have been a entrepreneur woman. I've been able to find my fiance. We found each other, actually, which is a funny story in itself. And we're both a very entrepreneur spirit. So I say that now I don't do this alone. I have a support team and people that do believe in us. And I also have him as a support. But I did for a very long time. I did do the entrepreneurial journey and didn't even know what masterminds were, communities, or anything of that. That honestly has probably been the biggest changer and dynamic in my growing in my journey. And so if you're on this channel, feel free to, continue to follow me. I am now going to kind of spill the tea. I always have many people that come to me and say, hey, Michelle, why don't you start your channel? Why don't you tell us a little bit about how you did it? What you failed at, what you didn't, had a lot of failures, right? We had, which if you watch my YouTube channel, you will hear the story eventually about how we lost $250,000 on a deal. And then how I pivoted and was able to just bounce back from that. And we did have some private money lenders on that as well. So, I'm hoping my stories will encourage you to become an entrepreneur if that's what you want to do. Also learn from me, and us. They'll probably be guests on our channel and so forth. But yeah, I'm so happy that you're here. I'm so happy that you're checking out the page. Feel free. There's going to be a couple of things. You can join our community. It's Women in Real Estate, and we started that at school.com. And that's going to be anyone from residential to getting into the commercial side, which we're continuously growing. We did a very, very good run of 4 years in midterm rentals in the San Antonio area, and we're looking to diversify our portfolio. So that journey you're going to see firsthand of how we get into multifamily, what do those numbers look like, and also in storage units. Those are the two classifications and diversifications we're going to do. But I'm so happy that you stopped by, and feel free to kind of look around. I don't know where everything is at, but look around on this page, and I hope that you will stick around to hear about my story, Michelle, and how my journey's been. And I'm hoping that it will add value to you, give you some encouragement, maybe teach you some different things. I hope that I can be able to give you some aha moments how my community has for me. So thank you so much for stopping by, and I look forward to continuing to be able to add some value into your life.